So there's a lot of talk about pre-ordering. Um, People happy with it, people unhappy with it. But I will tell you this, Brian Weed, I love the whole nature of pre-ordering with this fall's EA Sports games. And I will tell you why. I love it because I personally know now I don't need to, right? There's no ambiguity. If you are an Ultimate Team guy, you pre-order the game. If you're not, who cares? I like that. And I'm not an Ultimate Team guy. I don't need to pre-order. There's nothing in it for me, and I'm cool with that. I like expectations, right? I like them being set and level with everybody getting it. Why are you laughing, Mr. Weedeye?
Well, nothing. It's the idea behind pre-ordering hasn't necessarily in the past always been about getting something, and now that they've it's become a regular thing to here's the bonus you get for pre-ordering. But now you're right; they're directing at those pre-order incentives to a certain base of their consumers, and that's not everyone. So it interests me in that could it actually turn people off that they're doing this as opposed to here's a bonus that's actually going to generate more sales or at least pull in more pre-orders earlier than maybe would have been otherwise.
And I mean, I've never been a pre-order guy to get the hat or to get the shirt, but there are people who are, with sports games in particular being a yearly release and the notion of pre-ordering sort of not being the same, the same approach, I'm not the least bit unhappy with it. And conversely, if I am an Ultimate Team guy, it's a no-brainer to not pre-order. If you are going to play any amount of Ultimate Team is kind of silly because you get, it's free digital content packs. I don't even know all of the details. You have it, but you get a lot of stuff that is potentially appealing if you are one of the guys, and there are millions of them who like to play the game this way.
Yeah, and it's not just what you're getting as an Ultimate Team player. You kind of have to pre-order, or you have to be a day one buyer if you're really interested in Ultimate Team, because once you fall behind, you're out of luck. You're never catching back up. You're not getting that time back. And the relevance of these games, and Ultimate Team is actually extending those windows a little longer, but the relevance is still generally for most people limited to the season length. So if you miss out on the first month or the first 2 months or something, as someone who's interested in Ultimate Team, you're at such a disadvantage, and you've lost such an important chunk of time that it becomes, it makes really no sense to wait. And that's exactly what EA is hoping. They want to get everybody, or 2K also, they want to get people in on day one, and they want them to stick with the games as long as possible. So it's not just about bringing in digital revenue. It's also about keeping people playing for longer and getting them there on day one when they make the most money from selling copies also.
It's interesting because with NBA 2K16, you do get something for pre-ordering it. You get the game before the regular ship date. And to me, again, as a guy who who will be buying the game, it makes complete sense for me to pre-order NBA 2K15. Why wouldn't I? It'd be crazy not to.
Yeah, it's really kind of semantics. September 25th it's not really 4 days before release date. That's the release date, because why would you wait the 4 days and go pick it up? You just go in on that first day, and whether you pre-order or not, or you do it on Amazon, and it's easy. There's really no reason. It used to be you'd go in and you'd commit money to games with pre-orders, and you don't really have to do that anymore. Amazon makes it easy. You can pre-order and then cancel up to a few minutes before it processes on the day it's going to ship. So the commitment that you have to make isn't really necessarily there. You got nothing to lose. If you're going to buy the game, you might as well pre-order it anyway. So and that's what they're taking advantage of here, is those people who they're going to buy it anyway. And even before you know anything about NBA 2K16, here's what you're going to get in the pre-order. Go do it and tweet us your receipts. And it's pretty crazy. But with sports games, it's understandable, because for the most part, what you're going to get every year. It's going to be an upgraded version of last year's game. Very rarely, there are cases where exceptions to that rule, and that's NHL last year. know, or a game like Rory McIlroy this year. But even in those cases, you have EA Access now, where everybody else can either, if you can't get on EA Access, if you don't have it, you still get impressions from people, you still get all the information you need beforehand, and then you can cancel your pre-order then. But we've gotten to a point now where with the EA games, it's not just, and going back to your point about all the ultimate content, it's not just one like collector's edition. So there's the pre-order bonuses, but then there's several or multiple collector's editions, and that's one for $70 and then another one for $100, and it's just how much Ultimate Team content do you want. And for a lot of people, that's not going to make any sense to buy those because that's all it is. And then for the people who play Ultimate Team and spend hundreds of dollars in Ultimate Team, it absolutely makes sense for them to pay $100 for their pre-ordered game, because that content you get is also kind of locked into pre-orders in the collector's editions because they expire after a few weeks. So yeah, it's really putting people into a position where if they have any interest in a game, they have to get it on day one, and you might as well pre-order because you got nothing to lose by doing that.
Well, yeah, it makes sense on every level, right? Because by the time Madden is released, the people that are Madden fans want to play the new game. And, you know, being an annual release, you know, there are still people playing Madden 15 right now. I'm one of them. We're in year 4, I think, of our online league, and people have come and gone, but I'm still in there playing. There are definitely people playing Ultimate Team, not nearly as many as there were at the start, but there's still some, you know, and I think that's a little counter to your point that if you don't get in on day one, you're out of luck. I mean, if you want to play Madden Ultimate Team, yes, it's good to be in from the beginning, but if you start a month late, you're not completely out of luck. You're just competing at a different level than other people for a little while. But it's a very cyclical game. Like the guy who's number 1 in the world 30 days in will not be the same guy 60 days, 90 days, 120 days as well, too. So there's that part of it.
Yeah, but you also have to take into account that a lot of what they do in Ultimate Team now is timely content. They'll put out a card based on, you know, this week's games or a performance this player had. So you miss out on a lot of opportunities too if you're not there day 1 or month 1 or month 2. So yeah, it is. True. It's more of a challenge. And then yeah, I mean, EA doesn't care. They'd like you to be playing at any point in the year, and then hopefully you start the next year on day 1. I mean, that's their goal. So is to get people hooked and back in on day 1 for the next game.
Yeah, and it makes sense on every level, right? I mean, Ultimate Team is the engine that drives this entire genre. I like the fact, again, that going in, I know based upon the kind of player that I am, what am I getting out of pre-ordering or not pre-ordering this game? With the EA games, I'm not getting anything out of it if I don't pre-order it, if I don't play Ultimate Team. And if I do, I pre-order it. Doesn't cost me anything more. I just know that I'm getting something out of it. And, you know, frankly, as I think to a lot of people now, it's, you know, with a lot of complaints about what DLC is and what it isn't, what it should be and what it shouldn't be, again, at least it's very clear. The lines of demarcation are clear. There's no gray area with this. Ultimate Team, all the way, everybody understands, and that's the way it is. Personally, I'm okay with that. It's all about knowing what you're getting yourself into.